Number 7, Alabama, 13.5-point favorites against Oklahoma. The over-under I have is 2 references to Jackson Arnold being named a captain for this one. A lot of talk in Norman about that this week. Very, very popular topic of conversation about a guy being named a captain. Does that mean, and here's why it is, okay? So some of it's justified, some of it's not.
Because who else would you name? That's kind of my question, is like, who started all the other games? If we're going to bench a guy and say he can't be a captain, then that's everybody.
This kind of makes you it kind of makes you wonder, what are the situations when we don't talk about, why don't we talk about captain stuff every single week? Probably because usually it's just a ho-hum batch of captains, but we always reference the guys who aren't named captains and why that's a big deal. Shout out to the Connor Cook draft conversation. Who could possibly forget that? The Jackson Arnold captain thing can be seen by some as this coaching staff still believes in him. This coaching staff wants him back next year. That's what they're still trying to figure out, okay? I would not say it's a certainty by any stretch of the imagination that Jackson Arnold is back at Oklahoma next year. I do believe him when he says, I'm taking this week by week. There is a really good chance that whoever Brent Venables hires to be his next OC, his most important assistant hire, I think they will want to handpick their quarterback. Maybe that's Jackson Arnold, maybe that's not. I'll tell you what. Brent Venables is certainly showing much more confidence by naming him a captain. Okay, there's a lot more "I believe in you, kid" than when he benched him in the first half of his SEC debut. Okay, does that matter? Does it matter that your defensive-minded head coach is finally showing some confidence in you? I have a tough time saying that it matters that much. I think Jackson Arnold's digging from within with this, okay? Oklahoma's last home win against FBS competition was week 3 against Tulane. By the way, Tulane, number 20 in the playoff poll. Nice little season. John Summerall, very good coach, some would say. That means that Oklahoma has more wins against the current CFP top 25 than Texas. OU greater than sign Texas. That's what people are saying. More relevant for this game. Take away the defensive scores. Oklahoma's offense has 8 touchdowns in 6 SEC games. It gets worse. Okay. Even if you want to leave the defensive scoring in there, which you shouldn't if you're trying to evaluate an offense, Oklahoma is averaging 15.2 points per SEC game this year. That is 124th in FBS if you're just doing the breakdown of points per conference game. Nobody in America has allowed more sacks in conference play than Oklahoma, and nobody in America is averaging fewer yards per play against conference foes than Oklahoma at 3.97. That's not even good enough for Marcus Satterfield. What's he up to? Basura.
Like, I want to laugh, but I really can't because of the amount of injuries. That's the thing. Like, I try to be fair. It's like, I don't even know if I know this offense isn't good, but I don't know how bad it is because, again, okay.
New offensive line every week.
Yeah.
Which top 5 receivers playing, which one isn't, which quarterback are we going to? It's a mess. And absolute. I mean, even, they've been banged up in the backfield as well. What position on Oklahoma's offense hasn't endured significant change in season? I mean, they changed coordinators in season 2. Tight end position, I think that's it. Maybe. I mean, it's been bad. It's been really bad. And look, the results are what they are. Okay. And I understand that Oklahoma has endured a lot of injuries and has not been fortunate with injury luck, but it has not been a great answer to the whole, are you SEC ready question? Okay. Is Oklahoma ready for Bama's defense? I highly doubt it. Bama's defense since the Vandy loss has been much more consistent. Subtract the bad Milroe safety from the South Carolina game, and Bama's defense is allowing 13.4 points per game in its last 5 games. And in that stretch, nobody has more than 24 points against Bama's defense if you, again, take away the safety. Bama's had 5 consecutive games forcing at least 3 turnovers. It's a bad matchup for Oklahoma's offense, man. A really bad matchup. If Alabama comes in there and doesn't just shoot itself in the foot with penalties, which I realize is certainly possible, but this has not been the type of offense that forces you into those penalties. It's not the type of offense that's going to go full Diego Pavia and convert third down after third down and just make Malachi Moore lose his freaking mind. That's the problem. Would you expect to see some fight from Oklahoma? Yes, I would. And I don't think it's a given that Bama's offense looks invincible in this hostile atmosphere at night. It should still be a hostile atmosphere, even though this has been obviously a disastrous season by Oklahoma's unbelievably high standard. But I'm going to say too much Bama. 31-14. Tied. Maybe don't roll from start to finish, but second half, it's pretty much never in doubt that Alabama's winning this football game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We just talked about the Texas game where their offense kind of couldn't get going, and they eventually just kind of got suffocated. And I think that's something that, listen, guys, when you're not on the same page, it's really hard to tackle Jalen Milroe.
How would you know that, Will? How would you know that? Did you witness anything like that?
Yeah, I think you could call me a firsthand account of that at this point. I saw it live.
Who had a better seat, you or fake Mike the Tiger?
Definitely fake Mike the Tiger.
Okay.
Definitely him. So not the most traumatized for sure. But God, I always think about Omar the Tiger when I think about how hard that Saturday was for me. But anyway, so point being, like, again, it's the Texas script. It's the fact of, okay, yeah, sick. Billy Bowman pick. Oh my gosh, your defense is one of the best in the SEC. You're playing awesome. Okay. But how many times are they prepared to tackle Jalen Milroe? Because that number could be 20, it could be 25, it could be 30, as we've seen. And they might never need to do that, if the offense can't get going. Because one thing about the old swarm defense is they could definitely cause chaos. They could definitely create turnovers. And they could definitely create negative plays. Actually, this defense is kind of the worst matchup for an offense like Oklahoma's in the SEC because they sell out and bring pressure and they sell out and cause chaos. And if you have offensive linemen who are like, oh, yeah, dude, sorry, what's your Instagram? What's your real name? Not good.
If you're a sicko and you're looking for a little bit of gambling, props and stuff like that, finding some way to parlay like Oklahoma money line with a Billy Bowman touchdown is a fun bet. Because Oklahoma ain't winning this game unless you get some sort of Billy Bowman touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's Johnny on the spot. Talk about nose for the football. Drink every time you hear someone say ball hawk about Billy Bowman with his NFL draft stock. Even in that Mizzou game. I mean, my gosh, seriously, go back and watch that hit that he had on Luther Burden. That was one of the biggest hits I've seen all year. And it's such a key spot. Billy Bowman's great. Unfortunately for Oklahoma, they need a whole lot more Billy Bowmans to be able to win a game like this.
Facts.
If you're wondering, Bama's SEC championship path basically just needs chalk to play out.
It's so easy for them to this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if Bama wins these final two games, I think it'll have an automatic spot. All I hope for is that the SEC won't announce a conference title bid 3 days after it's clinched, like the Big Ten did with Oregon. If the SEC can just avoid doing that with all these tiebreaker scenarios, the SEC will have shown that it's the better conference than the Big Ten. That's pretty undeniable at this point. That was so funny seeing that on Tuesday. Oh, God. That's how we know we're too far in, man.
There's a rage quotient. There's a rage economy going on where it's like no matter what happens, everyone's like, oh, this is unfair to my specific interest. But I am on the MRED. What is this? B-Ball not nothing that you sent me that looks like it's in 2004. And I have fully confirmed that all it ever has to do is beat Oklahoma. And then what appears to be Auburn on the road. So that should be pretty easy. But that is
Auburn.
pretty easy.
Well, that game's in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, never mind. Okay, this is laid out weird then because it doesn't have home and away consistently. But yeah, okay,
I think it has favorites listed first.
There we go. Okay, there we go. Easy. So yeah, it's Bama either time. So point being, their road is now pretty easy because if it's in Tuscaloosa, you're so right.
Yeah.